to work properly. We got it taken care of on both ends here. So hi, welcome. How are you? Happy July 5th. I'm excited to be hanging out with you. So I know it's a holiday weekend. It is time to pretty much be outside and have fun and be in the pool and enjoy ourselves. But you know, we really want to focus on our meal prepping and eating healthy and doing what we have to do so that we can just put all this on autopilot. It might take us an hour out of our time that we would take out from the pool, but you know what? It's worth it in the long run. So if you're here with me, say hello, say hi, let me know how you're doing. If you're watching on the replay, let me know. If you're meal prepping with me, let me know. I'm hot, guys. My kitchen is hot right now because I have the oven on. I brought out my hot plate here so that I'm not going back and forth from the screen here into the oven, back and forth. So I'm trying to limit all the different things that we have going on. But listen, so again, I'm excited that you're here. I'm excited to be here with you. For when we get started meal prepping, this is the process that I go through. I will make sure that I have my sink cleared out, because when you have a big mess, it can be a little bit overwhelming and distracting. When you're trying to find the space for everything, when you're trying to find the room for everything, it can be a little bit overwhelming. So that's like one thing. I'll just make sure everything's either in the dishwasher or out of the dishwasher, just like so that I can be done with this, throw it in the dishwasher or the sink. Typically I won't really cook and then clean right away. I'll like give myself a break, give myself some time. If it's in the dishwasher, that's even easier, but I'll come back and I'll wash the dishes. And then, you know, a lot of this work is done for me throughout the week. Next thing that I'll do is I'll make sure that the trash is taken out. It's another thing that can be a big headache when we're chopping and cutting and cooking and you have trash, and it's just like, so take the trash out. The countertops, make sure it's as clean as possible. The key is really just to find a home for everything in your kitchen. You know, where does the cutting board go? Where does the cups for the NutriBullet go? Where do your measuring cups go? It can be very frustrating when you're like, where is the teaspoon measurement? I cannot find it. Or where is the half a cup measurement? And it's just always somewhere, right? Like, I know exactly how that is. It's just like in a million different places. And I definitely don't have everything perfect to how I, you know, even today I was looking for my popsicle cups, but I didn't have that out since last summer. And I'm like, where is it? I know it's around. It's really just key to give everything a home. So that would be the next tip. And then finally, I would just say to just wrap your mind around what it is that you're making. You know, being part of this group, you have a lot of the work done for you, where you have the meal plan done for you. You have the grocery list. You just print it out, shop for it. You have the recipes done for you, which is like almost like a huge headache. You know, even when I was shopping for ingredients for like a 4th of July party, and you just want to make like one dip, for example, or one recipe, and you just don't understand. I don't understand why there's so many ingredients, why it seems like I would have to go to the store and spend like $50 or $40 on just one recipe. And so that stuff it can be a little bit frustrating. So I hope that you are enjoying the meal plans and having all that work done for you, so that you can, you know, that next step is just to look everything over, look the recipes over, make any substitutions that you want, swap out any recipes that, you know, you aren't feeling. You have the database of all the other recipes, all the other meal plans, and then just review everything and then have a game plan of what you're going to do. You have the meal prep checklist, which is what we're going to be going through today, so that it kind of walks you step by step, which again, like, takes some of that work away from you, where you might have to think, okay, like, what do I have to do first? I have to get the oven preheated. I want to get the things that are going to take the most time and get that in the oven. Have my appliances do some of the work for me. I'm then going to want to chop so that I can do this and that. And so a lot of that is done for you in the checklist here, but that would be that final step. It's just like, okay, we have a clear space. We have a clear mind. We have everything we need. We have our food containers out. Today I have out my glass storage containers, and you know, just things were ready so that I can be out. I don't want to be in the kitchen all day either. I want to be out by 4 p.m. also because I have other things to do as well. So again, hey guys, hey Huma, hey Angela, how you guys doing? Thanks for being here. Let me know if you're meal prepping with me. Let me know if you're meal prepping, if you plan on meal prepping later. And let's get started. Let's dive in. Let me know if you have any questions as we go through. My plan is to just go through. I always get sidetracked and want to stay in chat, but I do want to demonstrate how this can be done very quickly. So I'm just going to keep going unless I hear any questions or see any questions pop up. Say hello if you're watching, and then I'll stop and answer those. All right, so I'm looking through my meal prep checklist. I'm going to put my chicken in the oven, and then I'm going to start my couscous on the stove. So I have my chicken out on my tray. I'm just gonna sprinkle it with a little bit of salt. There's some olive oil in the pan so it doesn't stick, and a little bit of pepper. And then this is just gonna go in the oven, 350 degrees. Okay. And what we're gonna be making, just to review really fast, the avocado brownie smoothie packs, the protein pancakes, the summer corn chowder, which is so delicious. We have our couscous salad, which is a delicious summer salad. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through the dinner recipes and see what I can prep ahead of time. For example, you know, some of the stuff you don't wanna make too far in advance, like the lasagna noodles for the no-bake vegetable lasagna. We're not gonna wanna really make our lasagna noodles for later in the week because that's something that takes like, you know, a few minutes, and you really just want fresh, you know, as fresh as possible on that occasion. So I'm gonna be here with you live all week long, making dinner with you. So, but what I can do, and what would take me a lot of time for that night where I'm making no-bake vegetable lasagna, is the ground turkey. I could cook that ahead of time because I know that that's gonna be kind of a headache. I'm gonna have to take out an extra pan when I go to make that. And same thing with the turkey pesto stuffed zucchini boats. I can make the pesto sauce ahead of time. I can make the ground turkey ahead of time. The quinoa for the chickpea shawarma bowls. And I could make the grilled veggies and the chicken. I will be making chicken. I do have extra chicken on the tray to make that for the grilled veggie and chicken dinner. So things like that we're going to be prepping ahead of time. And then finally, we're going to be making our mango strawberry popsicles. These are really, really refreshing and perfect for summer. All right, so chicken's in the oven. Cool. Next, we are going to get our couscous on the stove. So I'll probably prep it over here, and then just so I don't accidentally knock into it, I might move it over to the stove and then bring it back when I come to show you what it's looking like. So couscous is a really fun grain. It's almost like it almost has like a pasta consistency. So if you've never seen couscous or used couscous, this is what it is. This is a brand, Near East. I mean, you can grab any brand. They sell them in many different versions. And what we're going to do is you want to always look at the back because different kinds can cook at different temperatures and times and need different ingredients. But mainly it's usually water or broth. And so it says servings, 1 cup cooked. So 1 box makes about 5 servings, it says. And let's see, 3/4, 2 cups. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my 1 cup of couscous. So I'm making 2 servings of this. Everything on your recipes are balanced out for 1 serving. So for example, if you see on the protein pancakes, for example, it says 1 egg, a 1/2 cup of milk, a 1/2 cup of rolled oats, 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. It says how much it serves on the top. It serves 1, and it makes 2 pancakes. So if you make that recipe, if you use all the ingredients in that recipe, it is meant for 1 serving, and it will make you 2 different pancakes. And in my picture, I made it into waffles. You can do whatever. And so if you wanted to double this, if you wanted this twice or 3 times, you just double it or multiply it accordingly. And so the same thing with the couscous salad. You just want to always double check because sometimes they vary here. It mainly serves 1 to 2 people. The recipes, like typically breakfast, it serves 1, and if you can easily double it to make 2. And then this couscous salad, you'll see it serves 2 and then makes 4 cups. So with the veggies, with the cheese, with the couscous, it makes 2 cups, around 2 cups per serving. So a lunch size portion, right? So everything is really calculated and broken down into the serving size required. So you want to just look at, sometimes things like this are a little bit weird because it says like a different, to make it, it's a different amount. So just, follow the box. That's why I say that. And then come back here and then add what you need. Okay. So we are going to, and you also want to, so in a medium saucepan, bring water, olive oil, salt to a boil, stir in couscous, and then remove from heat and let sit for 5 minutes. So this is really simple to make. It only takes about 5-6 minutes. And so we're going to add in our broth or water. Broth is just going to add a little bit more flavor, and I put broth in the recipe. So I'm going to use broth, and I'm going to make sure that I follow so I have I'm doubling the recipe. So I'm putting in 1.5 cups here. Okay. You just want to make sure sometimes certain pastas, like for example, if you were going to make like regular pasta, you don't need to measure out the exact amount of water because you drain out the extra water. Or same thing with like, well, rice and quinoa, you want to use exact measurements. And so this is a similar thing here with the couscous. So we're going to bring this to a boil. So I'm just going to bring it to a medium heat there. And okay, and then we'll stir in our couscous. All right, cool. So that is working. Next on our checklist, we're gonna move through and we're gonna, it says cook potato in the microwave. So I'm gonna take my potato, make sure that if your potato is a little bit, just rinse it off, dry it off before you go ahead and cook it. And you're gonna put that in the microwave. The reason why that is next on the checklist is because we're gonna be using that for the soup. So let me go get that. All right, so you'll see that you just want to dry this off. So sometimes I scrub it if you notice like a lot of debris coming off. You can also peel them if you like. And then most microwaves have a potato button. I'm going to press my potato button, and then these will cook on their own. Okay, next, well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the measurement of couscous ready so that as soon as this boils, I'm going to be able to put it in. So, you know what? I added too little broth. I needed to add 2 cups, not 1.5. I was reading that backwards. I needed to add 1.5 cups of couscous. I'm not the best at reading directions, guys. That's why I like to create my own recipes. So I'm gonna get the 1.5 cups of couscous ready here. So as soon as this is boiled, let me dry this out so that my couscous doesn't stick. All right. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's ready for as soon as this boils. Beautiful. And then I'm going to keep the lid by here because when you cook couscous, you want the lid. It allows the couscous to fluff up, and I'll show you what that looks like when we get to that. All right. So next thing, we are going to get the turkey bacon. That was one of the recipes. That is what we're going to need for the couscous salad for lunch. And then we're also going to be using that in the pesto zucchini both later in the week. So I'm going to get that going. Let's get out our turkey bacon. You can use any kind of bacon that you like. I just, like to use turkey bacon. You can get the uncured kind. You can get whatever kind you like. And you can cook this on the stove. You can cook this in the microwave. I know there's a bunch of different ways to cook bacon. I'm just going to get this going on the stove. And so that it doesn't splatter on me, I'm going to put it over here. All right, so that is going. And as you can see, meal prepping, especially when you want to meal prep in a quick amount of time, it's a lot of multitasking. So that's again why you want to just have a clear vision initially, and then just have like a bird's eye view as to what's going on. All right, so I'm going to keep my eye over there on the turkey bacon. It's on a medium to low heat. My potatoes are cooking, my chicken's in the oven, my couscous the broth is warming, and then I'll be able to pour that in once that's done. And then on this frying pan here, I'm going to be making our pancakes, our protein pancakes. Earlier in the week when I made these, I did turn them into waffles, which is fun if you have a waffle maker. I'll show you what my waffle maker looks like. It's fun to use. They look like this, and then they're fun. They're definitely not necessary. I think I got a couple of these for Christmas, and I was like, why not use it? They're fun, especially if you have kids, if you're trying to get them to, try something new in the kitchen. It can be fun to try as a family. All right, so let's go back down our list. How are you guys doing? How are you doing? All right. Next, we are going to, let's prep our pancake batter. And then we'll get that here. Cooking with a little bit of oil, not too much, just so that it doesn't stick. All right, so I'm gonna go to my recipe here. Protein pancakes. So I'm going to take my blender cup because I'm just going to, you can use a blender cup, or you know what, maybe I won't use a blender cup because you can use a bowl also, because I wanted to show you what the chia seeds look like. The chia seeds, if you can blend it up, I'll show you my chia seeds. So chia seeds are stored in the refrigerator. And chia seeds are these little seeds. And when they mix with liquid, they become very thick and gelatinous, and they're very good for your digestive system. They have a lot of fiber in them, a lot of healthy fats. And so you can blend this up. However, it will you won't be able to see the chia seeds, which is fine if you have like a picky one at home and they're not like, you think that they won't like it. But I'm just gonna, I like seeing it, and I like the little bit of crunchiness in it. But again, it's up to you. Maybe I'll show you both ways in both the blender and the bowl here. All right, so first let's look at our recipe. So it says 1/2 cup of chocolate protein powder. If if you have chocolate protein powder, you can use that. You can also use vanilla protein powder and add vanilla, and then add cocoa powder to it. Or if you don't want or don't like protein powder, you can let me know, and I can. And also in the database of recipes, there are alternatives to this kind of protein pancake. There's the one with the banana and the egg and the oats. This is just my protein pancake recipe. That it is a popular one, so I wanted to get you guys to try this one. So I'm going to take out my protein powder. I like this Orgain protein powder. You can use You can use any kind you like. This is just one that I recommend. And now it says 1/2 a cup of protein powder. So there is going to be a serving size in the back. Most of it says like 1 to 2 scoops, and most of it will equate to like the 1/2 measurement. All right, so I'm going to take my 1/2 measurement here, and I'm going to scoop this out, nice even scoop, and I'm going to add it to my bowl. Okay. This flavor is actually peanut butter flavor, so I'm going to add a sprinkle of cocoa powder in mine. I've been using my cocoa powder for our kids' cooking class, so I feel like we might have used a lot of it up. We've been making a lot of chocolate recipes, like healthy Nutella and things like that. So I'll see if I can grab that in a second. But in the meantime, I'll skip to the next ingredient, which is 1 egg. So remember, if you are doubling this recipe, make sure you do, it would be a full cup of protein powder, 2 eggs, etc. I'm just going to do 1 serving right now as an example. All right, and then we need 1/2 cup of milk. So this week, I recommended you get just plain unsweetened milk. I grabbed a coconut milk. You can use any kind of plain. I say plain because sometimes almond milk or coconut milk can come in vanilla flavor, but just grab plain because we're going to be using this for the corn chowder, and you don't want vanilla flavored corn chowder, okay? All right, so 1/2 cup. 1/2 cup. Where did my measurement go? See, this is probably the trickiest part for me. Remembering where I put my measurements. Did I put it back in the? Yeah, I did. It's typically where they end up. But that honestly, my measurements are all. That's why you gotta have a home for it, because like if I had multiple ones or they just were all over, I wouldn't like think back and say, okay, well, where is the one that I used? Like instead of having 5, where's the one measuring cup that I had? Because if I had more, this one would stay in there, and then I wouldn't get in the habit of double checking. All right, so you heard the microwave go off. That is the potato getting done cooking. I'm going to gently move around my turkey bacon and then grab my potatoes out. All right, so that is done cooking. The potatoes are done. They're gonna cool off because they're very hot when they come out of the microwave, and then we're gonna get that ready for the chowder. I see my broth here is not yet boiling. It's a very low heat. So back to this, I'm doing 1/2 cup of milk for this mixture. And then I'm also gonna need 1/2 cup of rolled oats. So I just have, you can use any kind of plain quick oats. These are just a gluten-free kind. Okay. All right, so that is there in there. I try to put things away as we go. That's another thing that I try to do, clean as I go. And now we just need 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. So if you don't have a tablespoon measurement, you can use a teaspoon. And usually the bigger spoons in the house, like, there's smaller spoons and bigger spoons. The bigger one is a tablespoon. So we're looking for 2 tablespoons. This is a great way to get chia seeds into your diet. By themselves, they don't taste that. They actually don't have a lot of flavor at all. So by adding them to a recipe like this is a great way to incorporate them, because they kind of just blend right in. And like I said, you could blend this up in the blender, and then they would really become fine and almost not noticeable in the recipe. Okay, so you just want to double check, make sure you have all the ingredients in there. And we're just gonna mix this up. And then you wanna notice how the recipe looks. Like, does it look too thick? Does it look too thin? Remember, since your measurement of the protein powder was not like one typical serving, you might need a little bit more liquid and a little bit less. For mine, I actually need a little bit more liquid. I'm just gonna add a splash more liquid here. All right. And then we're gonna get this into our skillet here, which is why I have this skillet out. I'm gonna turn on the heat here, and then I'm gonna put a little bit of oil there. You can use olive oil, you can use coconut oil, you can use anything. Coconut oil is gonna be a little bit sweeter. Coconut oil is extracted from the coconut, which is obviously a sweeter fruit. But anything is fine. You can use butter if you have it. All right, so this mixture is, you know, it's a thicker mixture because, again, the chia seeds become very gelatinous when they get mixed up. And so I actually think that that's why mine was sitting with the eggs, even though it was just sitting there for like the minute, it really does absorb some of that liquid. All right, so I'm gonna get this hot. And then as soon as this is hot, I'm gonna get a little bit of oil. This is the coconut oil that I have. I recommend like an unrefined coconut oil. All right, and we're just going to get that heated up in the pan. And then you can get creative with your recipe here. You can make them with berries, you can add bananas, you can add whatever you like. But I just like to give you the basic recipe, and then you can add or take away whatever you want. I'm gonna give my turkey bacon another check because I hear it sizzling. I'm gonna add a little bit of liquid actually to the pan here. I don't want it to stick. And the reason why I'm adding liquid, you can easily add oil, but sometimes instead of using oil so much, I will add like a broth or a water. Like if you're cooking veggies, it cooks down just as nicely with a water or a broth without adding so much oil to the recipe. All right, so this is looking pretty good. I'm gonna take a big spoonful, plop it down. Now this is gonna make, remember, like 2 large pancakes. So mine might make like 4 small ones. Because I'm gonna do like 2 smaller ones at a time here. But the serving is for 1, so just remember that. All right, I'm gonna let that be. This batter probably will thicken up even more as it sits, because remember those chia seeds are it's a funny little ingredient. Let me get my spatula. All right, so we're doing pretty good so far. We have our batter here and our pancakes are cooking away. I'm going to get that just out of the way for the moment. This is almost at boiling, and as soon as our couscous water boils, we're gonna turn off the heat, and then it's just gonna sit, and that's why we want the lid, because the couscous starts to absorb the liquid, and then once we take the lid off after 5 minutes, the heat's turned off, we'll fluff it with a fork. And this is like a great thing to bring to like summer pool parties too, this recipe. All right. We're gonna go back to our checklist. So we have our chicken cooking, our couscous getting ready, our protein pancakes cooking, our potatoes done cooking, our turkey bacon's cooking. And then we're going to, since I have a few minutes, I'm going to get my ground turkey into a pan and get that cooking, because remember, we're going to be using that for 2 recipes for dinner. So since I have some time, I'm going to get that started. So what I'm going to do, this is the ground turkey that I have, And again, you want to follow the serving size recommendation. And the average serving size is about 6 to 8 ounces. And a pound is 16 ounces. So if you're cooking for at least 2 people, you're going to want to use a pound of the ground turkey. So a container like this is 3 pounds. So remember, I'm making this for 2 different recipes. So I'm going to need at least 2 pounds here because I'm making this recipe for 2 people per night. And then the rest of it would be 1 pound extra, which I am just going to cook up anyway. I could also visually divide this up by 3. Like, you know, this would be a third, this would be a third, so that would be like 3 pounds. But since I'm cooking it, you might as well cook once and eat twice. So I'm just gonna plop all this into a skillet and then get this cooking. All right, and it's also great if you have help in the kitchen, get your helpers in here and cooking with you and helping out a little bit. It's always nice to have help, right? All right, so I'm just gonna keep a close eye on these pancakes here so that they don't stick. They can cook pretty quickly. I have my heat pretty low because I'm kind of doing a couple different tasks here, but I don't want it to stick. And so I'm cooking these, and then I'm going to be able to, you know, freeze them, keeping them in the refrigerator for when I want them throughout the week for breakfast. Okay, so there we go, ground turkey. And now we're going to get ready to prepare our corn chowder. So, all right, this looks like it is coming to a boil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my let's not get that too hot. I'm going to take my couscous. I'm going to pour this in. You can add salt here to season it at this point. All right. So we're going to let that be. We're just going to turn off the heat, sorry. And then just let that be. That's going to start to absorb it's going to absorb the water there, and it's going to just steam, and it's going to cook itself here. So I'm going to move this a little bit out of the way. Okay. Oh, you know what? I never turned on our cookies. Yeah. I never turned on our turkey. You can hear over here that our pancakes are sizzling away. Think that they're ready to flip. Didn't do the best flip job there. Okay. I might not make the most pretty food, I have to say. Sometimes, you know, that's why I say you do not have to be a great cook. Like, you do not have to be a good cook. What you do need is just simple, easy, affordable recipes, simple solutions, delicious food, right? As long as it's delicious, it's worth it. And obviously, you know, if I took more time and was just focusing on this might look a little bit prettier. All right, so let's get this out of the way. Put this in the sink. Clean as we go, throw away things as we go. I'm gonna check on our turkey bacon. All right. All looking very good. I'm gonna get the lid to, I have my, when you cook food with a lid, it just cooks a little bit quicker. So I'm just gonna put the lid on the Dutch oven that the ground turkey is in. And then remember to keep your couscous sealed so that can finish cooking. All right, so once this flips, once the pancakes flip, they're pretty much done. I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna put it into a container here, little glass storage container. See our little pancakes here? And I'm gonna store them in the container. If you have plastic containers, just give it a minute before you put it in because you just want to give it a second. I mean, you could probably give it a second too if it was, you're putting it in the glass as well, but the glass, you know, holds it a little bit better. Okay, so let's finish cooking the rest of our batter. I moved it to this side because that was getting a little warm and I didn't want it to burn. Okay. So let me put a little bit more oil on. So even when you add your oil, you wanna be cognizant of how much you're adding because all this does add to the serving size recommendation. A couple little pieces on here, scraping away. Okay. Now again, this did thicken a little bit, like I said that it would, because those chia seeds are a funny little ingredient. It's a great exercise. Like a lot of times in my kids' cooking classes, I'll use chia seeds, and I'll make like a science experiment out of it, and we'll do like make a hypothesis and think like, what do you think is going to happen? And they're always amazed how like what the chia seeds do with the water. You can just let a tablespoon of chia seeds sit with you know, a couple tablespoons of water or juice or anything, and it's pretty cool what it does. It really does absorb all that liquid, and that's exactly what it does in your body too. It will go through the digestive system, take out anything extra, anything that like it just takes out all the gook and leaves your body and leaves you feeling more energized. It has a lot of fiber to keep you focused, and it has a lot of healthy fats in it for your brain and your hair and your skin and your nails. All right, so this is mixed up pretty well. And I'm gonna pour this. I'm gonna pour these last two pancakes in. This is great to like keep you really full for, if you're someone who gets hungry like at snack time. You can even save half of your breakfast for snack time, you know, or for like, because again, this was one serving. It was just a half a cup of oats. It was just 2 tablespoons of chia seeds and the serving size of protein powder, the egg. So you can divide the one serving for yourself into a couple different you know, meals, into a breakfast and a snack. Okay, so let's get this in the sink, clean as we go. Okay, so that is going to cook. They're kind of coming one a little bit here. Okay, so we have the extra here. And now let's go give our turkey another check. That's looking pretty good. That's pretty much done. And now we can get our soup ready because we have our potato done, and we can get that cooking and warmed up. In addition to getting our veggies and our fruit chopped up for the rest of our couscous salad and for our popsicles, the mango strawberry popsicles. And then we'll get our protein or our smoothie bags prepped. Okay. And then we are just right on track. We're doing really well. We're only 28 minutes in. We're doing a great job. We've got a lot of stuff done and underway right now. All right, so let us go to our corn chowder recipe. Let's get another pan out. Our other pan has a couscous in it. I probably should have used my bigger pan for, all right, this is fine. I don't like to keep too many pans in the kitchen because it just similar to like why I don't like to have a lot of measuring cups and things out, because it can be too much. And when you just have one that you know you are going to use, then you just make sure you take care of the one, wash it, put it away, take it out when you need it. So Let's hope everything fits into our smaller saucepan here. And then my other Dutch oven has our turkey cooking, but that's fine. Which I should just give one more check. Make sure this is cooking nicely, which it is. Make sure it's not sticking to the bottom. All right. And then I'll give you a peek as to what all that looks like as soon as it's all done. All right, this is cooking very slow and steady, right? Slow and steady wins the race here. Okay, so we're gonna need 1 can of corn, drained, or you can use 2 ears of fresh corn, which, you know, I just say can of corn because it just takes away one extra step. But I actually did just grow some corn yesterday, but to make things a little bit simpler, you can just take a can of corn. But since it's summertime, you can get some grilled corn or fresh corn in here. The 2 potatoes, which cooked up nicely. They cooked while we were sitting here chatting. Next, we're gonna need 2 quarts or 32 ounces of broth. So I have my 1 thing of broth here. Let's get another one. 32 ounces. So since this is a full one, I'll just use that. Just because it's an exact measurement there. All right. And then we're going to use the 1 cup of plain milk. So I have my plain unsweetened coconut milk, and then 1 onion, and then 1 small jalapeno to add some flavor to this dish. All right, so let me get my onion. Hopefully I don't start crying. And then I have my jalapeno too. I actually already started chopping up. I was using it yesterday, but I didn't. You only really need a small amount of jalapeno. So let's see. Can you see what I'm up to over here? I might move this out of the way. Let's see if this is ready to flip. It's taking a little bit longer over here. I don't hear it crackling or anything, so I'm just gonna give that some more time. So that was about 5-6 minutes for our couscous. And I want to show you because I think I'm going to have to use this pan because I don't think this is all going to fit. So once you allow it to sit and steam, it absorbs all the liquid there. And it smells very nutty and flavorful. And then what you're going to do is simply take a fork and you fluff it. You kind of just flick it and fluff it with the fork. And then you'll see that it starts to break apart and then look like that. So, grab this with my other hand here. So we're just gonna fluff it all the way through. And this is done. It only took about 5-6 minutes. So you can see here that we have this really delicious smelling couscous. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take this and put this into a separate bowl so that I can use this. Let's get my bowl over here. Okay, so let's show you what this looks like. I'm going to see how we got this. And then this is actually perfect because this will cool and then we can add in our cheese and our oil and our veggies to make and the turkey bacon to make the salad. Okay. I'll just give this a quick rinse. Okay. And it really does taste very good. It has like a really nice nutty flavor. Really delicious. All right. So there we go. There's our couscous. I'm just going to give our meat one more check, and then I'll check on our pancakes, and then we'll get started on this soup here. Or chowder, I should say. So I'll show you what this looks like over here. So our bacon is all done. I'm gonna let this sit and cool. And then our ground turkey is cooking nicely too. You might need to drain out some of the liquid, the fat. Which I'm gonna do. I'm gonna drain out some of this fat. And then this is cooking nicely here. This has like, it's some pink in it, so a little bit more time. Okay. All right, really good, guys. Now let's just check on our pancakes here. All right, flip, and then flip. And then again, once that flips, it's pretty much done. So I'm just gonna turn off the heat, and then the residual heat from the pan will continue to cook in. All right, great. So we're right on track here. We're gonna get our chowder started. Let's turn on the heat here. And then we can go to our recipe. We can check first things first. So bake the potato, great, we did that. While the potato's cooking in a saucepan, heat onions, jalapenos, and a half a cup of broth until onions are translucent. So first things first, we are going to cook our onions to get that flavor. So I'm just gonna take these out so I can get this out of the way so you can see what I'm up to with the chowder. These are, oh. Get out of the way. All right, so let's move this back a little bit. We have two recordings here, so I don't want to get anything in the way of this one either. Okay, so this, guys, it is so hot. It's so hot. I don't know why. I guess because there's the oven and this hot plate in front of me. I need a cold drink. All right, so you're good there. You guys are over here. You can see me now. Let's scoot this over. This out of the way. All right. Nice and organized, right? We want to keep things as organized as possible. So we have our pot here. We're going to chop up our onions and get a little bit, about a half a cup of broth, the recipe said, with our onion. So that, again, remember I said earlier, you don't need to add oil all the time. You can add broth or water. We want to get our jalapeno in there also cooking. So I'm just going to quickly chop this so I don't start crying and sweating. All right, sweating is enough. This is why I'm a fall winter girl, guys. I'm just like so hot. Must be warm blooded. What a thing. How are you guys doing? What's new? How are you doing? It's okay. Let me know if you're watching on the replay also how your recipe is turning out. You know, we're just going slow and steady through this. So we're taking our time. We're following the plan. We're following the checklist. We're going right down the list here. Okay. Beautiful. Let's get this in our pan here. And then we're also, you want to add your seasoning here to like your veggies. It helps them cook down while allowing them to absorb the flavor. Okay. All right, so let that sit. You can still use your lid to allow it to cook, because when you have the lid on, it just cooks faster. And so with the jalapeno, all right, so that's why I have this doubly recorded here, because the phone just shut off. But I'm gonna see if I can get it back on, but either way, we have it up here. All right. Hang on 1 second. Okay, we're just gonna keep going here. So frustrating, but at least I was ahead of the game here, and I got this recording over here. I'm just gonna, it actually, yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep moving along. And the thing with the jalapenos is that if you don't want it as spicy, you want to take out some of the seeds. The seeds are where the spice is. While some of the heat is still in the flesh there, in the skin, you really just want to watch out for the seeds. So I'm gonna leave some of my seeds in. I'm gonna leave some of the seeds on the cutting board, not scoop all of them in. But if you didn't want any of it, I would just scoop all the seeds out. All right. Then I'm going to pop these into the pot here. You can give it another. So I'm just roughly chopping it. It's about that size there. And then you want to wash, like, your hands with the spice. You always want to, and even with the cutting board, they have spice in it. So always give your hands a bit of a rinse after you use your jalapenos. I'm gonna give it a little bit of salt there, pepper, and then let that simmer. I don't know if you can see that there. Okay, give that a rinse. Okay, let's double check. All right, so this is back on. Oh, silly technology. All right. Okay. All right, so this is going to cook down really nicely. And just watch the heat, you know, you can turn down the heat here. If it's boiling too much, it's gonna sip of water. I'm hot. Water is not even cold. All right, next, go back to our recipe here. While the potato's cooking, an onion, jalapenos with the broth, season with garlic salt, stir in remaining broth and milk until well combined. So once these are a little bit translucent, once they cook down, since the lid is on, it's going to cook down faster. Let's check on our turkey. Since that's still cooking, I might just turn that off right now because I think that's about done. Yeah, this looks great. All right. So that's done. Our turkey bacon is also done, which is great. That's off. All right, guys, we're doing such a good job. And then we can chop up our potato so that that's ready to go in here. Let's see if you can see. Let's turn this one on so you can see me better. Let's turn this one on. Are you off or are you on? Okay, let's chop this up. So you wanted 2 potatoes. My potatoes, one was bigger, one was smaller. So I'm just gonna use, you know, it's equivalent to like 2 medium-sized ones. And then I also, if you notice, I left the skin on. You can leave the skin on your potatoes. It is perfectly fine and healthy. Again, when we put it in the microwave, or if you bake it, just make sure that it's cleaned off so that you don't get any dirt or anything, germs in your potato here. So we are just going to slice this up. And this cooked so nicely in the microwave. We're just going to have these chunks of potato in our soup, or in our chowder, I should say. The chowder. All right, next we want to get our corn chowder, right? Can't have corn chowder without corn. So I just have canned corn here, whole corn. I'm going to drain out the liquid. So now this is pretty much set up. We're just gonna need our broth and our milk for the creaminess. And so yeah, this is gonna take a little bit of time to cook down. I'm just gonna give that its space. This is gonna be ready as soon as that's done. And then while that's cooking, let us get our, well, we have two more things to make. Well, we have to finish up our couscous. We also have our smoothie, our popsicles to make, and we also have our smoothie bags to finish up. So what we're gonna do is we're going to get everything done for the couscous salad. We need some cherries, cucumber, spinach, feta cheese, turkey bacon, and we're gonna add that to our couscous. So we have our couscous. Let's get our cucumbers and our tomato and our cheese and our turkey bacon. Cucumber. And then our feta cheese. The refrigerator feels nice and cool. Okay. So our couscous is nice and cool down now. It tastes really delicious too. It's really good. Make sure you give it a try. Okay. Let's cut the ends off our cucumbers. So you want one cucumber. You're looking for an medium-sized cucumber, really. Let's get our spinach too. Here's our spinach. We need our spinach also. So like I said, you want a medium-sized cucumber. You really can't go wrong with adding too much or too little cucumber. This is not the measurement of the actual couscous, so you don't have to worry too much about that. So you can just, any size cucumber. I'm just slicing it into, I slice it into a half like that, and then I just cut it down into strips, and now I'm just gonna cut it into small bite-sized pieces here. About that size. You can cut it as small or as big as you would like. And I'm just going to add this to our couscous. Make sure your couscous is cooled off enough. So again, we have like that size piece. All right. And then we're going to cut the other half here. And then cut it lengthwise. And then there we go. We're gonna throw that in. All right, so whereas you don't really have to worry too much about how many veggies, you want to watch how much turkey bacon and how much feta cheese you're adding, because those things can add up calorie-wise pretty quickly. But again, I don't want you to have to obsess about it because you are eating a nice healthy dish here. But sometimes when you do eat healthy, some people think, some people overeat even healthy food. So you just want to watch all those different factors here. All right, so we're just slicing our tomatoes in about the same size as our cucumber. You can use cherry tomatoes. You can use the whole tomatoes. The recipe does call for the cherry tomatoes. They are a little bit more flavorful. I just had these handy, so I'm using them. All right, about 2 cups of spinach. So we're adding... we're just going to take 2 big handfuls of our spinach. And if you have kids in the kitchen that are helping you, what I noticed from my kids' classes is that kids love to get in the kitchen and help. So what I have them do is I'll have them pile up the pieces of spinach and then roll it. It's a very fancy way to slice up the spinach. The kids can use plastic utensils and cut. You'll be so surprised what you can actually cut with plastic. All right, but I'm just gonna take a bunch of it, a big handful of it, and just give it a nice rough chop. And this is going to this makes 2 to 3 servings. So this is a nice, big, healthy recipe here. So this is my second handful. I'm just gonna bunch it up in a ball here. Right. I'm gonna maybe tear it with my hands a little bit. So now our bowl is really getting filled up here. We're gonna chop up our turkey bacon into similar sizes as our cucumber and tomato. Just give it a few rough chops. This is a great recipe to bring with you to a summer pool party. It's a crowd pleaser. Perfect. And then the feta, which is so 1/4 cup of feta cheese. That's about 1/8 of a cup per serving. So let's get out our measuring utensil. Okay. So we have 1/4 a cup. Okay. Beautiful. And we are just gonna give this a mix. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna pour this into a bigger bowl and it will help me do the mixing for me. All right. All right, so let's get out a spatula and give this guy a mix so you can see how this is turning out and how this looks. You see, looks really delicious. And then give this a little bit of mix with your seasoning. We're doing really good with our thyme and with all of our, look at this deliciousness. Season it a little bit, salt and pepper. You know, obviously taste as you go to make sure, follow the recipe. All right, but there we go. This is gonna get put into containers as soon as I get a little bit of space here. We'll clean as we go, we'll put this stuff away. Okay. All right, so let's check on our onions, which are looking amazing. Nice and translucent, a little bit see-through there. And what we're gonna do is we are going to add in our broth. It says add in the rest of the broth. So the rest of the 32 ounces to our chowder. I keep saying soup. This is a nice corn chowder. And actually on the recipe it says you can add crab to give it an extra depth of flavor, which you can easily do. I know that's another summer ingredient. All right, so we're just gonna stir that up. Next, we're gonna add in our can of corn. Okay. All right, and we actually need to add in our cream or our milk. Unsweetened plain milk, 1 cup. This is gonna add a really nice creaminess to it. So stir as you go. And then magically you have this really creamy and delicious looking, you see? I don't think you can see here. And I'm just gonna add in our cooked and chopped potato. Taste as you go, season as you go. And you can add, if you notice that the potato is a little soft, you can add that later. I think you might be able to see a little bit better now. All right, so just like that, that is gonna be done. Let's let that sit and finish heating through so that the broth can finish cooking or just warming. And then finally, we are going to make our popsicles and our smoothie bags. All right, so for our smoothies, these smoothies this week are, an avocado brownie smoothie. And what I like to do for the smoothies is simply take a bag, take a container, and I like to throw the smoothie prep into the container here. So I actually do not have avocado because At the store, they only had really hard ones, and I knew that I wanted to make it for today. So my avocados are super hard. So it's kind of like hit or miss when you go to shop for avocados. You need to really plan for avocados. Last week when I went to the store, they had so many. They had them in like 4 different sections of the grocery store, in the produce section. But so you got to take it as you go. So once my avocados get a little bit softer, I will add them. But to demonstrate, I'm gonna take out my container here, my glass container, and I'm gonna, just like you would take your half of avocado, your banana. Since I only have avocado, since I don't have avocado in here, I'm gonna do 1 whole banana in hopes that my avocado is ready for tomorrow. If it is, I will take out half of this avocado, but if it's not, it's okay. I will just have banana. But so I'll do this twice, and this one is going to be for Tuesday. So I'm gonna bank on my avocado being ready. So I'm just going to add the half of banana to this one. Okay, next we are going to add half a cup of strawberries. And with our strawberries, you just want to make sure these are rinsed and cleaned off. I gave mine a bit of a rinse earlier. So a half a cup. Half a cup is going to be equal to about 4 to 5 strawberries. So I'm going to take 10 strawberries out because I have 2 smoothie containers here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Perfect. And the rest of the strawberries we're going to use for our popsicles. So you just want to cut the green stems off of. You're going to cut the green stems off of the strawberries here. Okay, and you can give them another half of a cut there so that it's a little bit easier for your blender to mix up. And this is really a fun smoothie recipe, especially if you've never had avocado in a smoothie before. It adds a really nice creaminess similar to the banana. So the banana is a little sweet, which is why we use half and half, like, you know, half a banana, half an avocado. But I think that you'll really notice a bit of like richness, a little bit more flavor. It has different healthy fats in it. It's a green veggie, whereas the banana, I always say eat your rainbow. We are going to have yellow and green here. So I'm going to add this evenly to our container here. Okay, perfect. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so our next ingredient is something that you may or may not be familiar with, which is tahini. Now, tahini, normally I might use like peanut butter or almond butter or something like that in a smoothie, but I'm going to use tahini this month because tahini is a ground sesame seed, and we're also using tahini later on in another recipe for dinner. So I didn't want to have to buy peanut butter and tahini because they can be a little bit expensive, and I like to keep our grocery list nice and affordable. So tahini is a ground sesame seed, and you're going to want to give this a mix just like you would natural peanut butter because there's some natural separation there. And it really does look like peanut butter. It has a nutty flavor like peanut butter. All right, and so we are adding 1 teaspoon. So 1 TSP. And I'm just going to, you can add this in when you're ready to mix this up in your smoothie, but I'm just going to add it here just so I remember and don't forget and don't have to take this out and mix it out in the morning. Mix it up in the morning. And then I will just plop all of this in. See how I added this in afterwards so that it kind of will stick and freeze to the banana and the strawberry. And I just take the clump out, throw in the blender, and blend it up with the liquid. So I'm not going to add the liquid now. And you would add cocoa powder to this also. And then this is going to be your smoothie. We'll put the lids on it. I gotta find my cocoa powder. We did lots of virtual classes with the kids this week. So make sure you add your cocoa powder to this, and these will go in the freezer and be ready for breakfast in the morning. Okay, beautiful. So last but not least, we're gonna get ready to make our popsicles, which I'm so excited about. All right, so I have so the mangoes that I found were the complete opposite of the avocado. These were very ripe. These are almost like too ripe, where, you know, I feel like they're about to go bad if I don't use them right now. So I'm gonna cut up the rest of my strawberries. This is the recipe at the back of your list here. The mango berry cream popsicles. So we're gonna use 1 pint of strawberries, 2 mangoes, 1 cup of milk, and the chia seeds again. So we're gonna use our remaining strawberries here. And this is another recipe where you don't have to be that precise. You might have like a little bit of a thicker consistency when you go to freeze it. But you can add, like, if you have only 1 mango, you know, you can mix that in. But obviously you want to try to stick to the recipe, but sometimes recipes are, you know, as a guideline where you can change it up if you want. Like, for example, if you want to change the strawberries out for the blueberries, you can do that. So I love to see when people put their creative flair on their recipes. Okay, so we're gonna take these, and we are gonna add these to our blender cups. All right, so we should use our bigger blender. Okay, so we have our bigger blender, which will be nice and big to blend everything up. And now let's cut up these mangoes. The key here to cutting up a mango, there's gonna be a mango pit in the middle. And what you wanna do is you just wanna carefully go oblong-wise. See how this is like a little bit taller than this way? You wanna go the tall way. It's also might be a little bit thinner one way versus another. And we're just gonna cut it going around very carefully. And then you're gonna feel the pit there. There's so many different ways to cut a mango. This is just the way that I cut it. So once I cut it all the way around that way, I'm going to cut it the opposite way. So going the midway around, creating 4 separate pieces of mango here, of mango skin. And then what I do with that is I'm just gonna take the skin here and I'm gonna peel it back. So I'm gonna peel it back, and depending on the ripeness will determine how easy or how difficult it is to peel. Okay, so that one was not as easy as usual. This one definitely is not as easy as usual, but that's okay because we have 2 here to demonstrate with. And then I'm gonna do the same thing to the other mango, and then I'm gonna slice this up and show you how to cut the meat off of the pit here. Yeah, this one's definitely, some of them are just harder than others, but that's okay. That is okay. We're not stressing out about this here. It is a little bit messy though. Okay. All right, mango. Definitely is not usually this hard. You never know though. You never know what kind of avocado or mango you are going to get dealt. Okay, great. There we go. Let's hope for an easier peel with this one. We're gonna cut it long ways all the way around. Our chicken is also in the oven, which is about done. You know, it takes around, for the amount of chicken that I put in per pound, it takes the amount of time, like the hour long that we were being here. See how easy this one is to take off? Oh, it's so juicy. Look at the juice. Looks so good. See how easy this one. Thank you for agreeing. Thank you for cooperating, Mango. Thank you. Okay, this one is so juicy and ready to eat. My mouth is watering thinking about these popsicles. Oh my gosh. Okay. And then you don't have to waste the mango on the skin. You can eat it. Okay. Now, these are slippery. Be careful. You're going to gently hold it up, and then remember there's a pit in the center. So you want to take your knife and feel along the pit, and you're just going to cut the meat away from the pit. So the pit should expose itself once you cut it like that, and then you're just going to take your knife and cut it down. You're just going to cut it all. Now, it's hard to kind of get all the meat off of the mango. You can easily buy mango pre-cut, which might be easier. It would be easier, but I don't like to buy that because it is a lot more expensive, you know? So I'm just gonna cut it again, find the pit, slice down. All right, see, some of them are just easier to cut than others. There's juice just like flying everywhere. Who loves mangoes? I love mangoes. I just love them so much. I think they're my favorite fruit. Okay. Take your, there's a green piece in the strawberry. Okay. All right. I think we're all good here. Another green piece. All right, guys. Strawberries, check. Mango meat, check. Let's put that in. Beautiful. Nice and slimy. Okay, great. All right. We are done with this cutting board. Let us get it into the sink and out of the way. Okay. Let's give our area a nice little wipe here. Soup is looking good. All right. Beautiful. Okay. Now, we actually should put away our chia seeds, but we're going to need it. We need 4 teaspoons of chia seeds. And you can choose to add your own sweetener. Like, you can add honey to this or something if you don't think that it's sweet enough. But the fruit is very sweet, so you might not want to. So again, these chia seeds are great for your belly. They're going to be great for your digestive system. This is a nice, healthy treat. Dessert, a snack, breakfast if you want. Okay. The recipe does call for raw honey. You can add it. Again, I think that I'm going to add it only if I taste it and think that it's not sweet enough, because sometimes the sweetness of the strawberries or mango can vary. So let's take our, again, obviously you could use vanilla for this, but I'm just going to use my plain coconut milk, because that's what I bought for the week and that's what I have for those other 2 recipes that I want to use plain for. And I'm going to blend this up. So you can choose to omit the milk, not add the milk if you want, but I think that it added a nice creaminess to it. So I have these little frozen ice cube trays, like they're silicone, they pop out really easily. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pour my batter, my popsicle mixture, fruit mixture, make sure it's, again, sweet enough. It tastes really, really good. All right. And the milk does add a nice creaminess. And if you have those popsicle, popsicle containers, use those. Remember, I said I have them, but I couldn't find them because I had them from last summer. This mixture is a little bit dark because of the chia seed, but you really don't want to eat that much fruit without having some sort of protein or fiber. So that's why we added the chia seeds here. Because otherwise you can just, you just get, you're like on a sugar high, right? If you're just eating the mango and strawberry, you would be absorbing the fiber a little bit differently, but since we blended it up, it does affect your bloodstream a little bit differently than it normally would if you were chewing it and digesting it that way. All right, so this looks great. If you have popsicle sticks, go ahead and pull up them in. I have popsicle sticks here, like little thin ones. I'm actually going to double them up because they are so thin so that it can hold these up when they are done. And then these are going to go right into the freezer. And since this silicone mold is really easy to just take out, since the silicone mold are easy to take out, I won't have to worry about them getting stuck. So, friends, that is it. So let me show you what we have all in all. All right, so we have our salad. We have our, So in that time we spent together, it's 4:09. I think I stopped talking about 3:15. We have our popsicles that need to go in the freezer. We have our soup, our corn chowder, which the heat will officially be turned off, so you can portion that out. We have our smoothies in the freezer. We have our ground turkey. It's very hot. We have our pancakes for breakfast. Let me show you. We have our turkey bacon for another dinner this week. We have our ground turkey for our couple dinner recipes. We have our chicken in the oven, which is done. That's going to get turned off. You always want to double check the temperature of the chicken internally with a meat thermometer to double check that it's cooked to the right temperature. Drain out that extra fat at the bottom. And then there you have it. We have breakfast. We have lunch. This beautiful couscous salad is going to get divided up. Our chowder, which is really, really delicious and waiting for me to eat. And then our smoothies, which I need to wait for my avocados to ripen to complete and then find my cocoa powder. But guys, listen, I hope that you enjoy this. I hope that you, got your meal prepping done with me. I know that the phone crapped out, but guess what? We're here together live or recorded over here, which will be put back on to our Facebook group and inside of the members lounge. And remember, we're going to be cooking dinner all this week together and to show you how all the July dinners will be coming together. So that's it for me, guys. I hope that you enjoy. I'll share my final photo of what my meal prep food looks like, and then I'll see you later on. Bye.